Game on, motherfuckers. This is AO Storm, and it's time for another Etiquette For Aholes podcast. That's right, the podcast where we talk about a-holes. You can always throw a tweet our way, hashtag it a-hole. Shoot to me directly at E4Aholes, the letter E, the number 4 a-holes, at E4Aholes. Shoot one of those ways, doesn't matter. I'll retweet it, tell me what's going on. Tell me if you like the rant, tell me if you hated the rant, tell me if I'm stupid, tell me what's driving you crazy. I'll retweet it, we'll talk about it, who knows. Maybe my next topic will be that shitty thing that happened to you today. Tweet me and find out. As always, there are no ads or sponsors outside of the usual request that if you're bored and need a good book to read on the toilet, I suggest you go to Amazon and pick up Etiquette For Aholes or any of the shorter Etiquette For Aholes books. Give them a read. The podcast is more for ranting, and the books are more for laughing. Believe it or not, the book was much better than the movie. So they say. In this case, it depends on what you're looking for. But anyway, as per usual, that's it. That's the ad, and that is all. Because we do a 10-minute podcast where we do some complaining. So why waste time selling stuff? Which means let's get right into it, huh? Let's talk about a thing that's gotten a lot of media. It's a lot of marketing behind it, and rightly so. Hilarious movie, Trainwreck, with Amy Schumer. I mean, hilarious, funny movie. People are excited for it. LeBron James is in it, so it's got to be good, right? I mean, like all the guy does is win, except for when he doesn't. But basketball success aside, I just hope that he thanks Darius Miles for paving the way and the perfect score for athletes to do what he's doing today. Getting back to the movie, though, this is a movie that Amy Schumer wrote, directed by Judd Apatow, and it's funny. It is a funny movie, and it should be a funny movie, because she is a funny woman. Her stand-up is funny. Her Comedy Central show is funny. She's funny in interviews, like, just off the cuff. She's the real deal. She is a funny woman, and I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody that disagrees with that on all fronts. She is a funny woman, right? It's a funny movie. Go see it. Watch her show. Support her. But anytime there's a funny woman, there are arguments and people saying, see, women are funny. It's all just sexist. You want to say that women aren't funny. Women are funny. Women are just as funny as men. That's true. There are women that are just as funny as men, and this all gets taken out of context, obviously. So please listen to the full 10 minutes. There are hilarious women that are absolutely as funny as men, that are funnier than most men, that are funnier than most other people on the planet. I mean, the obvious ones, like Sarah Silverman. Hell, Ellen DeGeneres' stand-up. Go back and watch early Ellen DeGeneres' stand-up. It's funny. Roseanne changed the way the sitcom functioned. I mean, she may have ruined the national anthem and whatnot, but Roseanne was a funny, successful show. Roseanne was, and these aren't all entirely top with everybody, and there's new stand-ups that are also funny that I'm not doing service to. Maria Bamford was a funny one that I remember growing. But anyway, we're getting off topic. There are plenty of very funny women. I mean, hell, watch, what's the other Comedy Central show? You got the period one with Ricky Lindholm, and on and on and on. The point is this: there's funny women galore. There are funny women, but that's not the point of the comment, and that's not really the point of what I'm going to say the a-holes are. They like to pick the fight that say, see, I told you so. Women are just as funny as men. 50-50 on who could be funnier. If you were picking a lineup of people and you had to pick a comedy lineup, like Kids, Sandlot style, and alternating, you didn't know anything else. All you knew was the gender. How could you know which was funnier? That's bullshit. If all you knew was the gender, the guys would probably get picked first, because if you were playing the odds are the guys have a better chance to be, we'll say, average funny. That doesn't mean at the elite level that there aren't funny women. There aren't funny women across the board. But here, let's really get into it. I mean, Amy Schumer, with her show and her stand-up and her movie, is really the Dave Chappelle of women comedians in that regard. I mean, because she gets to tell, her comedy is from that perspective in the way Chappelle's dealt largely with race. It was funny across the board, but a lot of racial stuff. Schumer's funny across the board. A lot of sexual stuff. Well, sex-related stuff, not sexual stuff, but sexual stuff, too. I mean, she'll go there. And she crushes it. I mean, she's the Dave Chappelle of women comedians. She should probably put that on bumper sticker or something. But the real issue is that, comedy is an art. And it takes skill. But it's a subjective art. Much like shitty paintings versus masterpieces worth millions of dollars. There's a lot of subjectivity, so people go, whatever. No, that's not true. There's quality and there's shit. And, there are funny women, and anybody can be funny. And by the way, there's plenty of unfunny guys. Let's stop pretending, oh, come on, guys are funny. The guys that, and this dates things a little bit, leaning heavily on Chappelle, but the guys that would yell, I'm Rick James, bitch. I'm Rick James, bitch. Or the guy, and we'll go back even further, anybody that quoted Austin Powers, but only the obvious Austin Powers lines. And I'm not going to do an impression. Got a little bit of a cold, but not the funny writing, but just the yeah baby stuff. And just thought that they got to be funny just by simply parroting those in any instance. That's not funny. Those people are idiots. And you're not wrong to think they're idiots. That's not funny. I can't be clear enough. Those people are not funny. Funny when using movie quotes and things like that is understanding context and working the quote in so that it's seamless. That's a good use of someone else's writing. That means you have a sense of humor. That still doesn't even mean that you're actually funny necessarily. You can't necessarily create your own comedy. You just know how to make jokes, and that's awesome. That makes you much more funny than the Rick James parrot. Again, there are unfunny guys, many, many unfunny guys, and those guys are not funny. But getting back to what humor is and the subjectivity of it all, it's with anything. It's with sports. It's people are born with different strengths, right? Fresh out of the vagina log flume ride, we all are imbued with different traits that are going to make us more successful in some areas than others. Body type for athletes, some people are going to be tall, some people are going to be short, some people are going to be fat, more predisposed to being fat, some people are going to be skinny. Some people are going to be ripped no matter what they do, or have huge tits. I don't know. These are all that are just naturally beautiful versus fucking having to work at it and take an hour to put on makeup or whatever you want, or manscaping. I don't know. Can we agree that we all have different strengths and weaknesses that we're born with? I think you have to agree with that out of the gates. And humor is no different. Humor, just like anything else, there's different levels of what you're born with in terms of humor juice. But again, like anything else, the guy that's born that's a gifted athlete that can jump out of the gym, guess what? If he doesn't learn how to play basketball and work at it, he's not going to do more than dominate little kids when he's young, and he's going to flame out and never realize his potential. Because like any skill, especially in this day and age where competition for whatever it is off the charts. Anywhere that people can find success and happiness and money and whatever and fame, people flock to immediately. Whatever it is. So, just like the athlete that needs to work at it to get to the elite level, unless your name's Bo Jackson, you have to work at being funny. There's naturally beautiful people, but there are also people successful in the world of beauty that are thought to be beautiful. They have to bust their ass. Maybe they have to work out like crazy. Maybe they spend tons of time in makeup. Maybe it's Photoshop. I don't know. But there are people that have to work harder at being pretty than other people. And humor is absolutely the exact same thing. And here's where you get the divide, tying it back to the differences and why there are less funny women than men. Why it's more likely a man could possibly be funnier than a woman. Guys work harder to be funny every single day. It's not that women don't. It's not that there aren't funny women. Stop just going with a broad brush. By and large, there's a larger percentage of males, trying to make jokes and make their friends laugh on a given day, throughout every day of their life, than women. That's true. That's true. any successful stand-up comedian, when I was a kid, and all I did was, I was a loser, and I just listened to comedy albums by myself all the time, and I'd memorize routines, and I'd tell them back to my friends, and all I wanted to do was make my friends laugh, and that's all they worked at it. They their whole life, whether they knew it or not, they were training in trying to make people laugh. That's what successful comedians are. That's what funny people are. There are those naturally gifted people that can throw together a speech or make people laugh, but they're not professional working comedians. They're not people making funny movies because they haven't worked their whole life at it. The women that make it, Amy Schumer, she knows stand-up. She's worked very hard at it. Sarah Silverman, they've worked very hard to get where they are, to be funny, and I would wager they have a similar story in how they spent their life trying to make people laugh. I think that's the exception, not the rule, with regards to women and girls. And girls like to get attention and make people laugh, just like guys do, but the way the world is, and you can hate the world and you can hate society, the way it all works, it's an easier path to attention for girls is through looks. That's the way the world currently works. It can be through math, it can be through science, it can be through comedy, it can be through whatever you want it to be. But we as people, it's easy to start going when, from when kids are super young on, that's a cute kid, she's a good looking kid, and on, and once you start getting attention for your looks, it happens to guys too. But again, we're talking about the majority. We're talking about the largest group of experience, whatever it is, however you want to slice it. More guys spend more time trying to be funny when they're young than girls do. Over the course of a lifetime, that adds up to more experience making jokes, knowing how to make people laugh, to being funnier. That's true with any endeavor. That's just how the world works. It's your 10,000 hours, it's your Malcolm Gladwell, whatever it is. Doesn't mean there aren't. Maybe it's 50-50 out of the womb with humor gene. Maybe it's not. But you have to put in the time, and I'm fairly confident that is the difference, and that is why there are funny women. There are definitely funny women, and then women can be just as funny or funnier than men. But on the whole, by and large, if you had to pick on your life right now, all you knew was you had a guy or a woman, which one is funnier right now. And if you're wrong, I'm going to kill you. If you picked the woman, you would be a liar. And I'm certain of that. Tell me I'm wrong. Tomorrow we'll talk about something else. As always, thanks for listening. This is AO Storm reminding you to be a good person.